Awesome. Hey, everybody. It is family tree time. Here we go. I don't know about you guys, but I'm in Naples, Florida, and here it is 2 p.m. I'm assuming that it's not where you are, Cari, right? It's like, is it still
11? It's lunchtime.
11 a.m. Still in the morning, right? So this is the beautiful thing about EXP, right? We can bring people together from all over the world at the same time. It's so exciting. And today I'm super excited, right, Cari? We're going to be talking video with someone who's absolutely really killing it in this area. Not only that, I mean, I could really spend the first 25 minutes of the call introducing Mr. Robert Kennedy III, because there's just so much, right? You can check him out on Facebook, on Instagram, on
LinkedIn. He's got some good videos on LinkedIn, you guys.
He does, and LinkedIn primarily, but I'm going to introduce Robert really quickly. Robert Kennedy III. All right, I chose this bio because I loved it, because it speaks to me. Robert Kennedy III wants to live in a world where people are no longer afraid to confidently tell their stories. And this is my favorite. And they can also eat Reese's peanut butter cups for every meal without any repercussions. Now that's my favorite candy. So I love Reese's peanut butter cups. His work as a keynote speaker in the area of leadership, communication has led him to work with organizations such as the U.S. Coast Guard, how cool, Barnes and Nobles, my favorite, Panda Restaurant Group, AARP, ComScore, as well as appearances on local networks like Fox 45 and CW 24. He is involved in his community through various boards, including the Association for Talent Development Maryland chapter, youth leadership programs, and helping nonprofits conduct mock interviews. He is also a professional member of the National Speakers Association. And before I say, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to say this. He's on LinkedIn, and I've been checking it out because Robert's LinkedIn page is about monetizing and selling with video storytelling. And just so you guys know, he's got a 3-day challenge coming up from March 14th to March 16th. And I
saw that, Becky. I was like, we gotta talk about that.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about this. We should do it.
Yes, we should.
Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Robert Kennedy III. We're so excited to have you, Robert. Woo-hoo!
Hold on 1 second. I'm a speaker. You know we got to do it like this, right? Hold on 1 second.
Okay, you got. Hey. Of course, and he's got the confetti.
Hold on. I brought some friends. Hold on 1 second.
Cari, we can learn something from this.
Hold on, I got one more friend. Hold on, he's coming. Hold on, here we go.
Oh, it's so cute. He's a little ballet cow. Or a lamb, maybe. I don't know.
Every Tuesday, Wednesday, we have more people showing up. We got to learn this stuff.
I know, we do. We definitely do. Love it, Robert. We love your style. This is going to be an awesome 45 minutes here, 50 minutes that we have left. So thank you so much, Robert. You take it away.
Well, I don't know what to take it away with, except what we talk about. What we talk about is storytelling. So let me ask you all a question really quickly. What was the best story that you ever heard? Anybody have? Yeah, what was the best story that you ever heard? And I can't get stories from everybody at this moment because we have so many people on the call. But here's the thing that I want you to notice right away. I asked you that question, and what did you immediately do?
Start thinking.
You started to think. Your mind started to go through this Rolodex of experiences, and you started to walk through, oh my gosh, wow, was it that time that I was 8 years old and I was at Six Flags? Was it that time that I was 15 and I went down the slide and I was a little bit too big for the slide and I fell on the ground, and then or was it the time that I went skiing and I was going a little bit too fast and I ended up in a creek? So that story is really true. I went skiing about 2 months ago with my family, and I decided, so I'm not a great skier, right? So I've done the bunny slopes, and then I've gone up to the I don't even know the colors, to the greens.
So there's like the red, the black, and the green, black diamond, or something like that, right?
So I didn't go to black yet. I went up to like the next level, and then before I said I was gonna leave, I decided to go up to the 3rd level. This was, I guess, the blues or the greens. And let me tell you, I must have fallen about 15 times before I got to the bottom of the hill. But now, as I got to the bottom of the hill, I was going so fast that I lost a little bit of control, and there were people kind of, you know how the ends of the slopes kind of converge at one area, and
Mm.
there was somebody, and I couldn't get out of their way fast enough, and I kind of made a little shift to the right, and I ended up in this creek.
Oh my.
I flipped over a one of the snowbanks and I ended up in this creek. And I was like, I came out of the creek and my entire bottom half was dripping wet. And I was like, man, did anybody see that? And I came up and everybody was just going about their business. Nobody paid attention to this wet dripping guy just walking across the creek. But anyway, I just told you that story because I wanted you to understand the power of storytelling, right? You don't even have to tell the story. You literally just need to ask people about their own stories,
Mm.
and they'll begin to think and they'll begin to find experiences, because here's how our minds work. Our minds, when people begin to talk, our minds crave connection.
Mm.
When people say something, our minds are immediately flipping through our mental Rolodexes, and we're trying to figure out, is that an experience that I want to have? Is that an experience that I don't want to have? Is it an experience that I had already? Did I like it or did I not? All right. So our minds are going through these things because we ultimately want to connect. So let me bring that to the real estate space. As real estate professionals, are we connecting? Are
Mm.
we engaging people? Are we meeting them where they are? Are we meeting them at the need that they have? Or are we just trying to sell stuff?
Mm.
I can't
Mm.
tell you how many real estate videos I've seen online. And so real estate agents make videos for a couple of different reasons, right? They make them for, not couple, maybe several. They make them for virtual tours in houses, and they also make them because they want to market themselves in some way. And I cannot tell you how many real estate videos I've seen that start. And if you are offended by the fact that I say this right now, I'm gonna I want to soothe you, but I'm gonna be mean and say get over it. Right? So I've seen too many real estate videos that start out like this. Hi, my name's Robert. I'm a realtor in Southern Maryland, and I want to be your realtor. I'm disciplined, I'm a hard worker, and I make sure that I get the best deal for you. So if you really want to get your house sold, or if you want to buy a house, come get me. I'll be your realtor. I'm Robert.
Mm.
Find my website here. Nothing about the client, nothing about the customer, nothing about the person, the audience, the human being. It's just about us. And we make so many things about us,
Mm.
which is why storytelling is so powerful. How can we find the story of the customer? How can we tell the story of the customer? I'll give you a quick example, and this is gold right away. I'm telling you, right? Instead of just doing a virtual tour of a house by itself, how about going into the house, showing yourself on camera, and maybe making some suggestions about how the room could be used, was used? You know, this used to be a nursery, and I could see it being used as this. I can imagine a big barbecue happening in this backyard. Can you see it with me?
Mm.
So as we're doing these tours, as we're doing these videos, can we use the story of the customer? So I've introduced myself a little bit, or I've introduced our talk, or our time together with that a little bit, but I'm going to take a break for just a second. Am I spotlighted on screen?
You are gallery. I can make you
Okay.
speaker. So here we go. Your
Just
view is speaker.
Yep. Well, no, it doesn't matter if I'm speaker or not. Just if you are the host, just spotlight me on screen. I'm not going to share screen, but I want to do something. I want
All
to show
right,
you
let
all
me try
something.
to do that. I have you pinned. Is that what you're talking
Okay.
about?
Nope. So as the host, if you hover over my square, my
Mhm.
rectangle,
Oh,
you should see.
spotlight for everyone.
There we go. That's what I'd like.
Got it.
All right. So all right, cool. So here's
Perfect.
what I'd like for you
I
to do.
learned
All
something
right.
just now
Yeah.
about you.
Everybody, do me a favor. Put your hands on your keyboards and open up your chat. I want to get some answers from you really quickly. All right. Everybody ready? Here we go.
Okay.
All right. So let's oops. All right, here we go. Dogs or cats? Go ahead, put that in the chat for me. Go ahead and do that for me. Put dogs or cats. Okay, we got dogs. We got about half and half right now. Dogs and cats. Great. Excellent. Excellent. All right. Fantastic. All right. Let's go to another one really quickly. Apple pie or pineapple upside down cake? All right. Mary says apple pie. Stephanie's apple pie, apple pie, Come on. Thank you, Becky. Pineapple upside down cake is the bee's knees. Thank you. Thank you, Katie. All right. I appreciate it. Thank you, Tracy. Yes. All right. Let's keep going. How about this? Resort vacation or cruise? Resort vacation or cruise? Cruise, resort vacay. Okay. All right. Some people are still a little bit wary of the cruising after a pandemic, huh? Lisa's laughing. She's like, nope, no boats for me. All right. Let's go with one more. All right. Who are we? Who are we here? Who are we? All right. Everybody's a realtor, real estate. Oh, Mary's an other. Okay. I bet you've never described yourself as that before. All right. All right. Realtor, real estate investor. Yeah. Right. So I'm asking these questions, and can you notice what started to happen inside of you as you saw these questions? Somebody share with me what did you start to feel?
I started
That
to
you cared.
question what I was.
Yeah, you started to question what you were. Somebody said, I started that like I cared. Okay. Anything else?
Pressure.
Pressure.
Okay.
Pressure to make a decision quickly.
We're more alike than we know.
Yeah. Right.
Engaged.
So engaged. Right.
Yeah.
So the point there is, I had you make some decisions. You felt a little bit of pressure, but what was happening was that there was something emotional happening inside of you. You were trying to figure out what you liked more or less. And how did you figure that out? You figured that out by going back again into some of your experiences. If you've never owned or had a dog or cat, you started to base your experiences on, okay, have you heard stories of dogs biting people? Okay, yep, I like cats better. Cats don't bite people, right? So if you haven't owned a dog or a cat or had a dog or cat in your home, you started to look at what you've seen, and you've gone through these things in your mind. And so what we want to be able to do with people is help them to recapture emotions or connect with emotions and experiences in order to be able to help move them from one place to the other. Because as realtors, here's what I want you to get. Let me see if I have a slide that says this. I don't have a slide that says it today, but here's the thing. As realtors, too often we give people information. But as real estate professionals, our job is not about information, it's about transformation. It's about moving people from where they are, literally now, to where they want to be in the future. We're moving them from one experience to the next. And so I've got to have a transformation mindset. And that's what storytelling is. Storytelling is moving you from one place to the next. Okay. So I want to share something with you, and then we'll take a break and we'll answer some questions. All right. So when I asked you at the beginning about stories, and I asked you about your best story that you've ever heard, and you started to process that. When I say the word story or storytelling, a lot of times people immediately think once upon a time. And part of the reason that we don't always want to tell stories, or we don't use stories, is because we're like, oh my gosh, I'm not a good storyteller. I fumble every time I start a story. I stink at storytelling. And so we don't want to tell the stories. And so we say, okay, yeah, let me just give them the information. Let me give them the street. Let me give them the factoids about the community. Let me tell them how many restaurants are there. Let me tell them the great schools grading of the schools that are in the district. Let me tell them all this information. But we don't tell the story. So here's what storytelling is. Storytelling ultimately has 4 main elements, right? Context, characters, conflict, and conclusion. That's it. Context, characters, conflict, and conclusion. And the one that gets people's attention the most is what? Can anybody guess which one gets people's attention the most?
Characters.
Conflict.
Conflict.
Conflict, unfortunately.
The conflict. Yeah. Why is that the one that gets people's attention the most? Because it's the juicy one. It's the one where the pain
Drama.
happens. And we're either trying to avoid pain or we're reveling in the pain of other people. Right? Right? This past weekend, Chris Rock had a show in Baltimore here at the Hippodrome. And most of the show, if the show was for an hour, he spent maybe 7-8 minutes speaking about the incident with Will Smith. But most people were at that show because they're like, okay, my gosh, it's been a year. What's he going to say? Is he going to totally light them on fire? Is he going to toast them and roast them? What is he going to do? Right? So we're there because the conflict is the thing that we notice the most. So if I were to ask you about your clients or your customers or your prospects, what is the conflict, or what are some conflicts that they face? Go ahead and put that in the chat for me. What are some conflicts that your prospects, your customers, your clients face? If you want to hop on audio and share it, that's fine as well. Okay, Becky says not able to qualify. Yep. All right. Negotiating. Yep. Negotiating repairs. Well, yep. What else? What else? They can't afford to buy. Oh yeah, that's a big one. What else? Home price too high. Right? What else? Okay, making great offers. Multiple offers on homes. OMG, yeah. Right? So because conflict is what grabs people's attention, do you think if I made a video that addressed that conflict right up front, would people pay attention? Right? So when we're talking about stories, your video doesn't necessarily have to have a once upon a time story, but it should follow the framework or the elements of storytelling. So conflict is the most mentioned one. But then we've also got the characters. They want to know that you care about them. They want to know that you are able to relate to them. They want to know that you understand who they are and their needs, right? So if you're making a video about luxury items and you're sending it to people who are trying to get an FHA loan, or they're trying to get something, they're just trying to get something, right? They're not even sure if they can afford it. Have you considered the character? Nope. All right. Context, what's going on in their world, and then finally the conclusion, right? So all of this stuff together here, I like to call it the cause or the why, the big thing that people are fighting for and who is involved in it. And then the last piece is what we call the conclusion, which is the steps that you can take. Okay. Yep. If you need this, if you want to get a home, if you can't afford to buy right now, here are some options for you. That's the conclusion. But as we talk about video storytelling, there are a couple other elements that I want to add to this. And I call these the catalyst and the call to action. Okay. After I share this, I'm going to shut up and let you ask some questions. And then we're going to talk a little bit about video. All right. So the catalyst is the thing that people need to do without all the details. Okay. So for example, Jennifer wants to buy a home. Actually, Jennifer is renting right now and her lease ends in December, and she wants to buy a home, but she's not sure if she can afford that. As a matter of fact, she's been working with the same company for the last 10 years. She's got 3 kids and she's looking to gain some stability, but she's not sure. Right now, the way that the world is set up, we've just come off of a pandemic and the interest rates are at a certain place. Jennifer's credit is, not perfect. She's probably at about 650 right now. Okay. Jennifer, so we just walked through this. Jennifer needs a lender that will approve her so that she can get a home that supports her needs and her family. Okay, cool. That's the catalyst. Okay, the conclusion. Here's how Jennifer can do this. As a real estate agent, you're walking Jennifer through this process. Okay. So you've walked Jennifer through the process of all of that. And then at the end, you're saying, okay, if you are like Jennifer, here is how we can help solve your problem as well. All right. So a call to action. And I recommend that every video that you share has a call to action. Never end a video of any sort without a call to action. That call to action might be simple. That call to action might be visit my website. That call to action might be download this report. That call to action might be click this link. That call to action might be text here. Whatever the call to action is, you've got to lead people. Remember, this is about transformation. You've got to lead people to a place where they can experience the change that they want to have. All right. What was the catalyst? The catalyst is simply a statement that tells what you need to do without listing out all the steps. You need to find a lender that can approve less than perfect credit with a low down payment. Okay, that's your catalyst. Then you walk people through the steps. Okay, so that is simply just the elements of storytelling, right? So why do I say video storytelling though? I think Becky or Cari mentioned this earlier. We all know that video is crucial, right? And it's important. Here's the thing. Video is currently the #1 source of information for 66% of people. Over 500 million people watch Facebook videos every day. OMG, right? More than 75% of all video views come from mobile devices. You think video is important? Right? So when I was coming up, so I haven't told you a little bit about my background. So I lived in the state of Massachusetts, as I mentioned, for about 15 years. And when I was in the state of Massachusetts, my first real job was as a teacher. I was a high school teacher in Fitchburg, Massachusetts for about 7 years. Well, let me tell it this way. I came home one day from my job. I had a child at the time, and she was just about 1 year old, 12 months old. I don't know. I think women say it differently than men. Men are like 1 year, women are like 17 months or something like that. I don't know. All right. So my wife was home and she said, babe, I feel a little bit unfulfilled and I want to go back to work. I said, cool. So I said, I want to go to school anyway. So I said, I started school and I said, while I'm at school during the day, let me see if I can find something else to do. So I became a real estate agent. Took my test. I worked for ERA Realty, ERA Key Realty, and that worked for. I was a contractor. We know how that goes, right? We know stuff. All right. So that was the first brokerage that I was with. And as I was with that brokerage and learning the different ways to market my business, I got the traditional stuff, right? You got to put ads in the local circulars, right? In the penny savers. You gotta send out the postcards, right? You gotta what else do you have to do? You gotta attend the BNI meetings in the neighborhood. You gotta do those types of things. You gotta email and text. No, not were we texting people at the time? I don't think we were. All right. We were definitely emailing people. I think the AOL was still around at the time. All right. And so we were given all of these things, these methodologies that we needed to do. You need to send a message to all of your sphere of influence. Everybody, hey y'all, I'm a realtor. Buy a house for me. All right. And that was what we were given. That was the advice that we were given. These days, we're still given some of that advice, but it doesn't work in the same way. I just gave you some data, some numbers. Most of the people that are near to you, most of the people in the world at this point are consuming video as their information source. Right? Because there's so much information around, they don't always want to just kind of call up a realtor to say, hey, or a real estate agent or a pro to say, hey, can you give me this information? Where do they go? They're like, okay, yep, I'm going to go to Google if I need this information, right? So if we look at this, more than 80% of traffic online is video, right? So the point is, are you using that effectively? Let's look at this. What are some of the most popular types of videos on the internet? Music videos, comedy, memes, tutorials, how-tos, right? And I'm particularly gonna just give this information, right? Look at this information right here in the middle. A lot of people are looking up tutorial information. They want to know how to do certain things, right? So if we're not doing this type of stuff, we're missing out on a big market. So let me ask you all really quickly. I'm going to pause here just for a second to take some questions and some thoughts. How many of you are actually investing time in video as a part of your marketing right now? Okay. Yep. Lisa says yes. Katie says yep. Yep. I love the yep. Stephanie says yes. Okay. Let me ask you, if you were to do this, if you were to talk about this as a percentage, right? How much of your marketing is video from a percentage standpoint? Is it 10%? Is it 50%? Is it 75%? What is it? Okay, about 20, 30, 25, 40, 45. Yep. Fantastic. Right? Okay. So let me ask this question. It's been 40% on YouTube. How are you where are you getting the information to make videos? What are you making videos about? Mostly new listings. Okay. What else? And that's the common answer that I get. Yep. Industry information. I joined the mastermind, says Katie. Ha, Becky said Chat GPT. Yep. I love it. A day in the life of a realtor, common questions, common problems. Yeah. Educational reels, home tours, mortgage rate fears. Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot of information that's out there, how to, right? So I just want to give you a couple of, and some of you know this already. I just want to give you a couple of places really quickly. If you're not sure where to get content, because this is a big problem that a lot of us face. We're like, we don't know where to get content for our videos. So here's an easy one, Answer the Public. If you go to answerthepublic.com, you can get information there. Okay. You'll get some questions about, you'll get some information about what questions people are asking. Here's another one. You can simply go to Google, right? And if you type how real estate or how something is, right, what happens is that questions then come up in the Google answers, right? You've got this little box that says things that people are asking or people also ask, right? So those are a couple of quick places that you can get information. YouTube, if I type in how real estate in the YouTube search box, I've got a lot of different things. This is based on search predictions or things that people are searching for. Right. So for those of you that aren't clear on how to get information, there's a lot of easy places to get information. Quora.com is another place to get information. Becky just talked about Chat GPT. If I go into Chat GPT and I say, what are home buyers asking about real estate? I get a whole lot of stuff. Right. Canva Magic Write. Oh, AI is killing it. Canva Magic Write. WriteCream.com is another one. Right? Keywords everywhere, not just keywords. Yeah. Right? We've got a whole lot of places that we can get information. And so the point here is I want you to get the information, and then I want you to think about how you can do two things. Number one, how you can share that information in the form of a story. So if we go back to the storytelling model, I can simply make videos, a whole lot of videos, just by including these elements: context, characters, conflict, and conclusion. Okay. There's another way that I can say this. You see if I can get that slide in here, right? There's another way that I can do this. There's what I call the hook, which is like your conflict. Then you've got your content or your context, what's going on in your audience's world. And then you've got what we call the process or the catalyst, what they need to do. And then after that, you take them into the conclusion, the steps that they need to take. That is literally a story. But if you're also sharing that information, are there stories of former clients, or are there stories of other residents or business owners that you can begin to share, because people connect with stories. They really want to be able to share with you. They really want to be able to connect with you through the experiences that they've had and maybe the experiences that you have as well. So let me just pause here for a moment. Becky, what thoughts or what questions do people have really quickly?
Yeah. So what I'd love to do is I'd love to have everyone put some questions in the chat box here. If you do, I mean, anything. I don't know if Robert can answer any and everything, but just throw the questions out.
Oh yeah, I got everything. I can answer any and no,
okay, good. He's got it all. So here he is. Let's use this opportunity. Okay, I have a question.
Yep, let's go.
All right. So, and I'm just going to go from personal experience. Like I go to my YouTube channel and I have, I don't know, 80 or 90 videos on there and I have like 10 subscribers. Okay. Yep. So one of the things that I can tell you I'm not doing now, this is just recordings of different trainings and stuff like that. So I'm not telling a story. So that's the first thing I know. I'm like, okay, I got to make this change. So what's the ideal length of a video? Let's say you're going to, obviously with Reels, it's different, but let's say you're going to focus on YouTube. What is the ideal length of a video that someone's going to watch? So how quickly do I have to do this hook, line, and sinker, right?
Yep. So the ideal length of a video is however long your client will watch it.
Oh, yeah, I haven't heard that answer before.
Well, so here's the deal. People are interested in stuff. If they're interested in it, they'll give you as much time as they need. Right?
Okay.
If you've ever paid to watch Star Wars, right? Let's not even talk about Star Wars. Let's talk about Batman. There was a Batman movie a couple of years ago, and people were like, dude, that movie was like 3 hours long. Right? If you paid for it and you're a big Batman buff, you're like, oh yeah, 3 hours. They should have made it 4. But if you're not into not Marvel, but Batman's DC. Let me not get the comic people messed up here. All right. So if you're not into superheroes and that type of stuff, 10 minutes, you're like, God, this is boring. I want to leave.
Yeah.
Right? So if I've got a video that is answering a question that my prospect cares about, then as much as I can give them inside of that, it may be useful. So now the purpose of the different lengths of videos are not so much because that's not what people can stand. It's really just about, it's sprinkling seeds to get their attention, to kind of move them down the road. That's the reason that we've got YouTube shorts and reels, right? It's not so much that our attention spans are short. That said, if people are watching your video, you've literally got about 8 to 10 seconds to grab their attention, right? So when in that first 8 to 10 seconds, what you're essentially doing is you're asking them for permission, or you're trying to get their permission to keep watching, right? So in that first 10 seconds, that's why we talk about the conflict. That's why the conflict is so important. That's why a hook is so important. If in those first 8 seconds, if I say in those first 8 to 10 seconds, hi, my name's Robert and I'm a realtor. Hey y'all, I'm Rob the realtor. Hey y'all, I specialize in, they're going to be like, well, dude, I was looking for what to do when my home fails the inspection. Right? So, and that's why we have hashtags and all of those important things, because people are coming to look at YouTube or some video related site to find information for a specific problem that they're having.
Okay. Yeah,
there's a lot of videos that are entertainment. And if you're dancing and you're pointing at stuff on the screen, yeah. If you're doing those types of things, people will say, haha, that's kind of cool, that's cute, that's funny. But again, as a realtor, your responsibility is not just information, it's transformation. So you want to lead them down a path. So yeah, you can start out with a lot of reels to gain their attention, and they're like, oh my gosh, Becky's so cool. I think she's funny. I love her energy and her personality. Let me see what else she's got.
Yeah. Okay.
So a quick question, Becky. I'm sorry if I have weird audio, you guys.
No,
but really quickly, how do we take that first 8 seconds and create the conflict out of a subject we know they want to hear about? Can you give an example?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So let me actually go back up into this into the chat here. So I asked you, what are some of the problems that your prospects are having? Let me see if I
Yeah.
can find.
One
Right.
is can't afford to buy, not available to qualify, negotiating, repairs,
Yeah.
can't afford to buy.
Okay. Um, do you want a home, but you feel like you're never gonna have enough money to get one? Right? I might simply ask that question. Or when was the last time you went to one of your friends' homes and you're like, dude, this is so doggone beautiful. And you left there
Mm.
feeling a little bit jealous because you're like, when am I going to be able to afford something like this?
Oh, that's a good one. Write that one down. That would make me
Right?
wow.
Right. You're tapping into the emotions that people have. Right. I mean, you don't have to make it up. Just literally think about some of your own emotions. When was the time that you felt angry? When was the time that you felt jealous? When was the time that you felt impatient? When was the time that you felt anxious? When was the time that you felt super upset or annoyed at something? Okay, you know those emotions. Now tie those into the house buying or house selling process. What are some of the things that you felt as a first time home buyer? What are some of the things that your clients are telling you that they feel or that they felt, right? There was something, I remember my first home buying process. The first time that I sat down at the closing table, my realtor didn't tell me I was going to sit there so long it felt like my wrist was about to fall off signing all of these papers. I mean, I was glad to be in my home, but if my realtor had said, dude, you need to do some wrist exercises the night before, you need to get some sleep, you you need to don't worry about practicing your signature. You will have enough practice that day. Right? So that is an emotion. That's something. So you might even ask on a video, have you ever wondered what the closing process is like as a first time home buyer? Right? Because people don't know that. So I'll say it this way. One of the easiest ways to hook people and to get their attention is to ask questions. As a former science teacher, this is the science of the brain. There's this thing, there's this process that our brains go through. Scientists call it instinctive elaboration. And simply what that means is when a question is asked, the brain cannot help but respond. I ask you a question, you may not respond to me or repeat out of your mouth, but your mind immediately starts flipping through its Rolodex. It starts sorting through experiences. Some questions are better than others. If you want to ask a yes or no question, yeah, you don't hold their attention a long time. But if you ask questions that cause them to do the flip, what would it be like if, or have you ever experienced, do you remember the last time that you experienced this? This one is not a question, but it's a word that causes the mind to move as well. Imagine. Imagine what it would be like to be sitting on a patio with the wind blowing through your hair, looking out at a pool, sipping a Mai Tai, leaning back on your lawn chair, right? And that's not going to be for everybody. The people that don't want that experience won't pay attention to it. They'll zoom by. Cool, that's not your customer. But the
So
people that want that experience are going to be like, "Oh my gosh, yes. Totally. Tell me more, Becky."
So what's the process that you go through? I'm interested to hear the process. So let's say you're going to sit down and let's say you're a realtor, as we have
Mhm.
realtors on this call, and they're
Yep.
like, okay, this sounds really awesome. All right. So what's my process? Do I sit down? Because, realtors, we want to be told kind of what to do in this so that we have a
Yep.
framework of what that looks like, because we know how to write contracts, we know how to do different things, we have a process we follow. So what
Yep.
is my process? Do I sit down one day and I ask these questions and create like 4 or 5 stories at a time and then post them? What's my framework?
That exactly. Love that. So let me start out with a little bit of information. So you read my bio, but I forgot to tell you this important thing. Um, I left Massachusetts in 2008, and when I moved to Maryland, I didn't get my real estate license at the time because um, it took a lot longer in Maryland, and I was just moving, and I didn't feel like I could get my sphere of influence up quickly enough. last year, or about a year and a half ago, I decided that I wanted to get my real estate license again. So as of last year in uh, March, I became a licensed real estate agent in the state of Maryland. As of August of last year, I became an EXP Realty agent. So just so you all know that.
Yay!
Just so you all know that. All right. So
Woo-hoo!
what? Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I wanted to go to EXP Con in October. I just didn't. I was booked. I didn't have enough time. But anyway, so what is the framework that we follow? Okay, so what are the first of all, what are the questions that your audience is asking? What are the things that they care about? Okay. And then if you can answer that question first by following the framework, what is following hitting the conflict, asking them about that conflict, getting them to experience and connect with that conflict. And once you've done that, then your next step is, okay, here's what's happening in your world. Here's the context that you're dealing with. Here's what's happening in the market in the United States. Here's what's happening in the market on the East Coast or in Alabama or in Florida. Here are the things that are happening. And based on that stuff, here is a recommendation that I can make for you to solve that problem or get through that challenge that you have. So that is essentially storytelling without a once upon a time story. You can make that even more powerful by relating a personal story or a story that you know of, because people also love to hear and see the experiences of other people. Okay, so what I can do is I can share with you all. There's a document that I have. Let me see if I can get it really quickly. And I'll post it. It has the story, what I call the video storytelling formula, the 5-step video storytelling formula. Let me see if I can grab it for you.
While Robert's doing that, guys, again,
Yeah.
if you have any questions for him, put it in the chat. But also what I'd like for you to think about, so I can give him some time to look for this. So if
Appreciate that.
we know that 66% of people are, I believe that was the stat, it was 66% or maybe 80%. I'm sorry, I didn't
Yeah,
see
it
it.
was both.
Are using
was-
video. Yeah. And I just had an aha from that, right? So here's my thing, and maybe this is your aha. My aha is if 20% of my marketing is geared towards the venue of which 66% of people are looking for that thing or researching that thing, then I'm kind of behind, because really what I'm thinking is that really over 50% of my marketing should be in that arena, if that's where most people are showing up in that arena, right? And that be reels, shorts, YouTube video. So based on that, how will you change your marketing plan immediately? Say over the next 30 days, what will you take from what Robert's going through and do differently over the next 30 days to increase that percentage? Just, that's really pretty crazy when you think about it that way. And you've got this download up, Robert. I'm gonna go ahead and let you run with that.
Yeah, I actually put it in the chat just now. So those people that are on the chat, you can grab it there. For those people that are in the workplace group where this is being streamed, if you want this, I'm actually going to share my screen so you can kind of see it. But if you're in the workplace group, do me a favor, just type video formula below in a comment below the video, and I'll make sure that you get it, or I'll work out with Cari how we can do that. All right. So here's what the formula is. Okay. You want to start out your formula by thinking about the hook or the conflict. And then you want to move from that into overall the why. So what's happening in your audience's world, who it's happening to, what's wrong with what's happening. So that's essentially a recapping of that conflict. Right. And then once you've gone through those things, then the thing that they need to do, What is it that they need to do? What step do they need to take? Don't give them the details just yet. What is the thing that they need to do? You need to find a lender that blah, 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 blah. You need to find an inspector that does blah, 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 blah. You need to get an appraiser that can blah, 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 blah. You know, I'm just making up stuff right now. Okay. Once you've shared with them, now you walk them through step by step by step. Okay. And then once you've walked them through step by step, you then give a call to action to share with your audience how you can help them solve the problem. Because these are people, these are regular people. They're not real estate experts. And so you're going to share some stuff with them, but there's definitely or inevitably a part of the process that they cannot handle on their own. Okay. They can find a plumber during that home inspection process if there's a repair that needs to be made. Right. But they may not be able to give all of the financial information or that data to the bank or to, you know, whoever else needs it in this process. All right. So you as the real estate expert say, yep, this is how you can solve this part of the problem. Here's the other parts of the problem that you might encounter. And here's how I can help with that. All right. So this is essentially the 5 steps that you can walk through in every single video that you create. Okay. If you do short form videos, if you're doing reels, you're doing it in 60 seconds, you're doing it in 30 seconds, you're doing it a little bit shorter. But I see one of the things that I see a lot of realtors do, especially in the short form videos, is that they're dancing, they're pointing at different things, but they don't do a call to action. So people are then led to, okay, yep, I see it. This video is cute. It's cool. I got to click on their profile and then I got to go click this other link and then I got to go. And so by the time, if you give people 3, 4, 5 steps to make, they're less likely to make those steps. You want to make it as easy for them as possible. So on screen, verbally say, hey, if you want more, do this. If you need more about this issue or this problem, do this. Contact me here. Text me here. All right. I hope that was helpful.
That was super helpful. Absolutely love it. Okay. So I'm looking to see if we have any comments so I have someone here that said, hold on, hold on a second. They were down towards the bottom.
Yeah. Well, let me ask Lisa a little bit about her question. Lisa said she needed this yesterday when you tried to make a video about a buyer who's sleeping on it and missed opportunities to make an offer. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So my son and I are in business together. And yesterday we were driving and we were talking about how this client we'd just gotten off the phone with had, for the second time in a row now, he's kind of very analytical and he wants to think about things. And we are also kind of going through this, we don't know what we want to do. There's this kind of that going on in the market right now. We want to wait. We might want to see what the prices are doing, or, he's just a very high C, right? He's going to measure, and then cut finally. And so by the time that he has done this, that opportunity is gone. And so we were talking about this not being a one-off problem. And so we thought, let's do a quick video. But we needed this system. We needed to be able to really put it together and make it really effective. We did it like 2 or 3 times and we got some, good bloopers, but it was just blooper roll, B-roll, whatever you want to call it. But
show that people love blooper rolls.
Yeah.
So following this formula is a way to do this, but also in the challenge that we're doing next week, I'll share a template or 2 where if you're going to make a video, you can literally sit and fill in. It's like Mad Libs. You can fill in some stuff.
That would be shoot awesome. A video. Yeah, right? Because once we've done it a few times, then it's going to become easier and easier, right? Yep. And so I was thinking, Becky, about what about doing, I know these are all very storytelling right now, answering a question or finding a solution, but my brain immediately went to objection handlers. In building our value. in a video,
Yep.
and not that we want to spend a lot of time talking about us, right? But it would be really cool to kind of break this formula into objection handlers. I've used it in real life in a buyer's consultation to be able to say, you don't want to be that guy. Remember we talked about him that lost his house because we couldn't get negotiated over $1,000, and so he lost the house that he wanted out of $1,000. And so nobody wants to be that guy, right? And so, I mean, the power of storytelling is huge. I love it.
So here's using that example. If I'm thinking about a hook, I talked about asking questions as a really powerful way, but sometimes cliffhangers are a really good hook as well. So in your case, it might be, here's what could happen. Here's the big explosive thing that could happen if you take too long to make a real estate decision.
Ooh.
They're like, what? Well, my name's Lisa Creed, and I did blah, 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 blah. I came across a client who was this, and this is what was happening inside of that. Unbeknownst to my client, behind the scenes, this train was already in motion, and these 5 things were happening. So it was necessary for the client to make a quick decision. But in their mind, they thought that they'd gone to the school of negotiation tactics, and they felt like the longer that they held out, they were going to be able to get a better deal. I knew that it couldn't happen simply because of these particular logistics. So as a buyer, if you want to be able to make a longer decision, you want to have more time to make decisions, here are some pieces of information that you need to have. Here's some questions that you've got to ask, and here's when you've got to ask them. And that will allow you a little bit more time if you're the type of person that is not used to making snap judgments or snap decisions.
Yeah. What does ready really mean? Right.
Right. So that's a great lesson for people and something to take them through. And the purpose of these videos, again, is not just to simply answer questions.
Or shame our client, right?
Or shame your client. It is to position you as an expert in a specific area.
That's right.
Right? Especially over time, because people don't make decisions after one experience with you. They don't decide, oh yeah, I think Mary Galkey is cool. Did I say that right? Give me that pronunciation, Mary. Okay.
Galkey.
Oh, love it. All right.
You got it.
Yeah. Did. Right. They don't say, I think Mary's cool just by looking at her. She's like, oh my gosh, she's got sexy glasses. I like her. I'm going to work with her. Right. Right. They look at over time. Okay. What are the questions that Mary's answered for me? How many interactions or intersections have I had with Mary? And has she been helpful? And on top of all of that, is she nice? And do I like her? Do we vibe? Right? So that's one of the things that video does that postcards don't. It allows people to see the true you. It allows people to see your personality.
Whoop, sorry.
That's okay. All right.
Robert, I've had your YouTube channel up, and somehow it came off of mute and started working. We have one cut, so we have time for one more question before we go, because we have 4 minutes left. And first of all, before we answer that question, Robert, please tell everyone, before everyone jumps off, how they can get in touch with you.
They can get in touch with me by going to getintouchwithrk3.com. How about that? All right. Get in touch with RK3.com.
All right. I just put it in the chat box. Get in touch with RK3.com.
No spaces.
So the last question we have here is, do you batch create or create on the fly, or a mix of both? So I guess they're asking, hey, what's your process? Because I know I'm looking at your videos and they look pretty cool. So, and you have a lot of them. So
yeah. So it's a mix. It's really a mix. For my YouTube channel, I go through periods where I will batch create depending on the questions that I'm covering at that particular time. For short form content, I do a lot of that on the fly. I'm not saying that is the right way to do it. I'm actually transitioning to doing some of my short form content on the fly. But here's the other thing. It's also about repurposing, right? So there is, sometimes I'll do a long form piece of content, and then I'll chop up that long form piece of content into 6 different pieces of content. Check this out. I'm about to give you a bonus. I'm about to give you something that's super gold. All right. So I came across this AI tool the other day called video.ai, VIDYO.ai. And here's what it does. I can record a YouTube video or a long form piece of content, and I don't even need to upload it. I just need to take the YouTube link and pop it into video, and it chops it up for me. It finds the places that are neat, and it'll chop it up into 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces of content for me. And I can then upload those into my shorts or into my reels or whatever. And it also puts the subtitles on the bottom, etc. So it's pretty neat.
Wow.
What's the URL?
Video.ai, VIDYO.ai.
I just pulled it up on my other screen here, and it
Yep.
looks incredible. It looks like you can get started for free, and then it's probably a monthly
Yep.
membership, right?
Yep, it's getting you started for free. I think the free one will give you about 300 minutes of stuff that you can chop up, or I don't remember what it is.
Oh.
Not video like EO.
I know. I keep putting it in there
VIDYO.
wrong. I
Yep,
think
that's okay.
it keeps audio.
If you are on LinkedIn or if you're in Zoom, if you put HTTP, you put the entire URL,
There
HTTP
it is, right
:/ it'll create a clickable link right inside of Zoom so that people don't have to copy it. They can just click it.
there. Just see. There we go.
Fantastic.
Perfect. Got it.
Yeah. So, and that's one that I just learned about recently. So I haven't even signed up as an affiliate yet.
That's cool. Yeah, it's got a lot of different video clipping.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, Robert, thank you so much. Now tell us really quickly before we jump off, you have a class coming up
Yes.
in March. So please,
Next
let's
week.
plug this.
March 14th, 15th, and 16th. We've got the monetizing and selling with video storytelling 3-day challenge. And you can just go to videostorytellingchallenge.com to get signed up for that. Let me actually put that in the chat as well so that you can just click on that.
Videostorytelling.com. Awesome.
Videos right there. Video story. Oops. I put one less, didn't put enough W's.
Yeah, that didn't come up.
Video. I put the only 2. So let's do that one more time.
Okay.
Challenge.
Video
.com.
storytelling.
There we go.
Here it is. Okay.
Bam. Yep, there
Yep,
we go.
I just pulled it up. Excellent. So attention
right.
real estate professionals, small business owners, and entrepreneurs uncover how to sell more by strategically leveraging video and storytelling. So if you are 10, 20, 30% on video and you want to learn how to do it at a higher level so that you
Yep.
can get that out there, this looks incredible. Cari and I are going to talk about it. We may be jumping on this as well, Robert. We
Come
can't wait.
on in. The
Hey,
water's warm.
this is awesome. All right. Thank you so much. This has been great. We appreciate you. We're so honored that you came on donating your time to us here in EXP. And we're so glad that you're also part of the EXP family. Plug into EXP Family Tree. We have about 8,500 members. And you know what, Robert? It's good for, even if you are building your downline, to drive folks to the family tree as well. It's not about who's in your upline. It's just about how we can help each other become more successful. So
Let me say
thank
this
you
last
so much,
thing.
everyone.
So I am in and I will be in Family Tree even more often. So if you have questions, absolutely feel free to ask and tag me or whatever. I'd be glad to share and get connected with even more of you.
Awesome. Connect with Robert on Family Tree and Workplace, or excuse me, in Workplace. All right. Thank you guys so much. Have an awesome day. We're going to see you back here on Family Tree Monday morning for Rev Share. See you then. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.